Welcome back, guys, to But Like Why the podcast. This is
Yay.
episode 4, and I'm Taylor Kelley, and I'm with my lovely co-host Stephanie McIntosh.
Hey guys.
Hi. This week we wanted to kind of talk about, just dive a little deeper into what we were talking about last week, or the last couple of weeks, which is a lot about unpacking old emotions as well as kind of dealing with generational trauma and working through that and doing the best we can with that. So,
Yeah. All
have
you
you
can
had
do is the
anything come
best you
up?
can.
Right?
Yeah, I would say this week was like the first week that I really embraced change. Like really was like, okay, I'm gonna lean on my impulses. I'm gonna like do what I want to do. I'm gonna have fun. Work have a creative task at hand. And just like really tried to like create like the life I want to live. And I enjoyed it. So I guess
Good.
for me, it's like I'm trying to figure out. Oh no! Oh gosh!
What happened?
So I got a phone call, and then everything just went crazy. Did I pop? Did I go away?
Nope.
Oh geez. Okay, I'm
Yeah,
gonna have to edit
everything's good.
that. So I'll
Okay,
go
no
back
worries.
to.
You're good. I was like,
So
oh,
yeah. so so yeah, I feel like this is the first time I really just tried to like hone in on creating the kind of life that I want to live and being more at ease with it, not trying to control so much of it and just kind of rolling with the punches. And like in moments in things were difficult and moments where I was like, oh, I don't want to deal with it, just kind of learning how to power through it and just like really pushing myself to just stay motivated and excited, which has been
yeah.
tricky with all this kind of crazy stuff going on internally and externally.
Yeah, I agree. It's been like I feel like the busiest couple weeks of my life.
Mm.
And just try like be just working late every day, trying to recharge like each day as much as I can. And um it's I feel like I definitely stepped into embracing the change as well, and kind of just getting out of my comfort zone. I'm someone who really likes my
Yeah.
alone time and likes to like do things a certain way, and have my time to myself, and be zen and all this stuff. But I feel like it's life isn't always perfect like that, and the more that you can embrace and kind of make that happen when you can, like even if it's just for 5 minutes, I think it's a little bit easier to deal with like the crazy hectic busyness of life.
I agree. I agree. I mean, I think that that's the big thing. It's like I feel like I'm still struggling with balance in terms of like, okay, like you're busy, go to the gym or like eat well.
Mhm.
But I just tell myself it's a process. It's like, yeah, you gotta be patient with yourself. Every single, I don't know, tweak that you can make is like a adding to like a bigger thing, a bigger push and
Yes.
a bigger change.
Yeah,
Evolution, I guess I
definitely.
should say.
Yeah, slow and steady. Yeah. I feel like too, like the generational trauma thing has come up a lot in the last couple weeks for me.
Mhm.
It's just kind of left and right. Like I'm surrounded by it. It seems like just things in family dynamics coming up, and um, trying to like really work through it differently this time around. And I think we talked about that last time. Kind of like we're the ones that have to kind of break that cycle.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
definitely.
um, and I actually feel like it's happening, and I'm doing it within my family. I'm around others that are doing things differently in their family dynamic as well, kind of communicating a little bit better, and making that time to really understand each other, and like, why do you feel this way? Or
Hmm.
and really talking about it, and just being really open about it. And I feel like that's how you heal, is just being willing to like open up about your sensitivities, and be vulnerable with your family, because at the end of the day, like your family is all you have.
Yeah.
And family can be painful. Like, it's not always easy if you've grown up, you know, a certain way, or there's things that are painful thinking about maybe in your childhood or your past. But I don't know. I feel like it's just all that is really changing rapidly. Like our generation is so different than the old generation, and we're just not accepting things to stay the same.
Yeah.
We're just
Well,
not like,
as we shouldn't. And, things
yeah,
staying the same is just ultimately insanely boring, but also it doesn't show any growth. And I think that that's, the kind of the one of the many blessings of COVID. It's just like everyone's kind of been forced to look at everything differently, and families are kind of being pushed together. And like, I mean, before COVID, I was 3,000 miles away from my family. Missed
yeah,
them so much. Like, wanted to be closer, but I felt like the only way that I could like heal my family is by kind of like acquiring very like, now I see them as very shallow things. And
mm-hmm.
now it's like, no, like the way to like really get to where you want is to heal those things and kind of like mend those fences, like stop the
Mm-hmm.
distance. And then that's how you can really like evolve and grow and build something significant. It's like, why wouldn't you want to build it with your family? um
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people are getting forced into that position where they're just like, you know what, like, because for me it was like, okay, I work in film, but I like hate where I work in film. I'm literally just like the gopher for for everybody else. And I've been watching film since I was like 2 years old. So for me, I'm just like, this is annoying. Like
Yeah.
I know what I'm doing. I need to start pursuing it. So it's like,
Yes.
you could either sit here and wait for the next gopher job to come up in the spring and hopefully the things open up, or you can go home and just focus on other things, and maybe that will inspire you to create what you want to make anyway. I think that that's kind of generational trauma is like, I feel like when you talk about blockages, like that's a huge one, because it's like
Yes.
sometimes if you don't like eradicate those things, like you'll never be able to move forward to where
Mm-hmm.
you're like your path, like where you ultimately are supposed to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, it's exciting though, and I feel like a lot of kids growing up these days feel like they're telling their parents what to do now, like kind of trying to get their parents to open up their minds and um, just see this different way. I don't know, we're just a totally different breed
No, I
of humans,
agree.
I really do feel that way. I was talking to Mandy's little sister yesterday, and she was expressing that like we're just different.
Oh,
We just don't. And she's, I think, 13, and she feels like just how we do with healing and just moving forward in a different way, and not relying on being like, oh well, this is just how I am. This is just how I am. That's the
yeah.
old generation's like thought, but we're like, no, we this isn't just how I am, and I can be so much better.
Yeah, and I think that's just like
It's
a
cool to
birth of.
hear that from a younger
It is.
generation.
It's
I love that.
crazy, and I think that that generation is so like, I'm so jealous of that generation, because I feel like my little brother and I look at like both my little brothers, and like one is like 20, about to be 20, and the other one is like 11. I'm just like, you guys like already know what you want to do, and you're just so like, I'm gonna do it, and it's like I was so self conscious for so long, and I wish I
Yes.
had that, like the ability to just kind of like, they feel like they just like gel into like what they want to do. They're like, yeah, like this feels right, I'm gonna go for it. And it's
Yeah.
still like they're young, so it's like they still kind of need advice, and some of
Mm-hmm.
them are more interested in listening to it, but a lot of them are like, I don't need your advice, and I'm like, yeah, but okay, like I'm not gonna tell you like, you're gonna have to, it's your path, you're gonna learn the way you learn. But it is really
Yes.
wild like watching them. No, I can agree. And so smart. So smart.
Yes. It's so cool. I can't wait to see like how they all grow up and what they all do. But
Yeah. And I think that's
um
also, it's like collectively we're just kind of getting a reboot of consciousness too. It's like, I don't know. I definitely feel like it's just what's in the air, and it's so interesting to watch too, because I feel like, yeah, like we're kind of learning all these crazy things, and realizing a lot of the notions we grew up with are false and they're not really what we thought they were. And it's like, but then it's like, and it's just kind of meeting information's kind of being, we're realizing it's being, how it's been manipulated and
Mhm.
harvested for so long and for information. And I don't know, it's just kind of a wild, congruent moment of things just clashing. And you're either like going to hear about later or you're along for the ride. And I think being
Yeah.
along for the ride is very intense.
Oh yeah.
It's very intense,
Oh yeah.
very chaotic. But it's something I feel like you're kind of like, I don't know, it's like you've been blessed with these like battle things where you're just like, I'm mentally like getting to a place where I'm like real strength and I'm excited for that, you know?
Yes. Yes. I feel like even over just the last couple of weeks I've grown so much, like
Mm-hmm.
just in family dynamics, really like approaching things in a totally different way, being more compassionate and understanding, and um, just changing my reaction. I think that's a lot of what healing is like recognizing the reaction you normally have could be um, shutting down, it could be
Mm-hmm.
avoiding people, it could be outrage, like whatever it is for you. But I think it's just to get past that, you have to recognize it when it's happening, like when you're triggered, and then decide to do something differently that time. I don't know. I really think that's how
Yeah.
you change those patterns, because if not, I mean, you'll just do the same thing over and over again. It'll never change. But I just think that's where so much growth happens, and you can just really I don't know, just build a better relationship with your family, not held back by old stuff. Like
Yeah. Yeah. Like
it's so much easier.
learning how to not react, I feel like is one of the most zen things you could do is just learning how to be okay, I'm just going to analyze, observe, and not
Mm-hmm.
react
Mm-hmm.
emotionally, which not saying take the emotions out of everything. I think for me as a very emotionally sensitive person, I have to learn how to like orient my emotions. So it's like I
Mm-hmm.
can't just like be emotional and it camouflages everything. Like everything I visualize cannot be seen from like an emotional lens. But like when I'm making art, it's good to push that emotionality in because I think that's as an artist, it's one of my best qualities is that I'm super sensitive and super emotional. Is it great in
Yes.
terms of business? Terrible. No. Shouldn't put that there.
Not the
Politics?
best.
No emotion for there either. Anything you're dealing with reptiles, don't put emotion there. But if you're dealing with things with like free thinking, big spirit people, put the emotion sensitivity there. Um,
Yes.
and I don't know, it's like that's a huge part of growth too. It's like even having the realization, like, oh, I probably look at things too emotionally. What if I take a step back? I breathe. I think about where this person is coming from. I think about where I'm coming from, and find a way that there's like, oh, like I learned from this from your perspective. Do I agree with it? Probably not, but at
Mm-hmm.
least now I'm understanding why I'm kind of cementing like why like who I am, like why I feel a certain way about certain things. And I think
Yeah.
that's like part of your character. It's like you have to kind
Oh
of
yeah.
like fill that out, you know, it's like a statue.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And like being okay to like feel how you feel and be strong in your beliefs, but also, understanding maybe the other side, or um it's not, hold on, it's not like putting yourself in someone's shoes. I think it's really just maybe accepting other people's opinions, if they're different, and not letting that like ruin it for you. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I think that's a big
Yeah.
one too, with everything going on collectively.
Yeah.
Like people, oh well, you have this opinion, well, I have the opposite, so F you. It's like it doesn't have to be that way. I mean, I think people should be different, and we should all respect each other, whatever your beliefs are, or whatever whatever you stand for. I don't know. It's different for everybody, and everybody has a backstory. So it's like, just be
Yeah.
understanding.
Especially because
Like,
like
I
we're
don't know.
allowing like external things to change the way we view each other. Like
Right.
especially things that we might not even fully understand. Like nobody it's what's so interesting is like in this moment, so few people are willing to acknowledge that they just might not understand.
Yeah.
Like it's
That's
okay.
so true. That is so true.
And I think it's the way we look at the word, the term ignorance. Like for me, ignorance doesn't mean stupid. It just means like I'm uninformed, ill-informed. Like I don't
Right.
know. And there's, you know, and I think that like the more knowledge I gained, the more I was like, wow, the way I perceived things was horribly incorrect. Like this is
Right.
just not, none of these ideas that I had and principles will logically work in the reality that we live in. And just
Right.
understanding that you're never going to change the reality we live in. This is that we are humans. There would be no religion, God, spirituality if humans could wake up, spring up, and be good. Like, I'm sorry. Like, that's just
Oh
not,
yeah, right. What would be the point?
yeah, that's just not the way it is. So it's like, learning, I can only speak for myself and just feel like I had to really just realize, like, look, life is like always something. It's like sometimes it feels like you're just walking through flames for
Oh
2 years
yeah.
straight. But I have to recognize I can't control that. All I can
Hmm.
do is like find like where my I can create my zen and like figure out how to put that inside of myself and like figure out how to go after that and stop worrying about all the things that I can't control. And then you just hope the two things just come together. You just
Right.
hope that that happens. Everything just goes woo. But I don't know. But then as soon as it does that, it comes apart again. So it's just like,
I know. It's fleeting.
yeah, yeah. So it's like you can't. I heard this really interesting quote where it was like, seeking happiness is like the worst thing you could do because it's so, not that because it's fleeting, but just because like it's not real. It's like incredibly shallow.
Yeah.
You
Yes.
have to. You should be seeking peace and wisdom
Right.
because with
Yes.
wisdom you can figure out a way to create peace for yourself. You kind of have to have, and with peace you have to understand. You have the time to learn and gain wisdom. So it's like,
Yes.
to me, like those are the two things you should be looking for.
Oh yeah. Those go really hand in hand, I think. Oh yeah. We're just little human beings. Like I don't know, when I think about life, I'm just like we're so hard on ourselves and we're just these like little beings. Like if you
I
zoom out,
know.
it's we're so tiny and like the things we worry about are so silly.
They're so
And
silly.
especially like wanting to control things. I'm so bad at that. Like I really have to remind myself each day, like I'm not in control. I can't control everybody around me,
Yeah,
and that's
yeah.
okay. Like you know, I think that just comes with growing and with changing and allowing things to unfold, and just accepting change as a part of life instead of trying to hold on to the past all the time because
Yeah. I mean, the
that's
universe
just
will rip you out of the
suffocating. So
universe will rip
suffocating,
you out of the past when it's ready for you to move. I can tell you that from
literally. Right,
it's
from
like,
personal
yeah,
experience.
it's like little signs. Like I had little signs, and I was like, yeah, but yeah, I think I know what's best. It's like, yeah, another
Yes.
sign. Like, ah, no, I think I know what's best. And it's like, oh no, we're gonna just destroy everything. Like, just
No choice.
blow it
Literally.
out, building by building. Like Godzilla just smashing through everything you built. Like, ha, God's like, huh, you think you really did something building this? Oh gosh, I'm making
So silly.
space, you
So
know?
silly human. Yeah, exactly.
And it's interesting
It's
too. I had this really interesting conversation where they're talking about just like how humans, compared to like all of the creations, like all the things that kind of are walk this planet, whether it's like ants or plants or rocks or animals, whatever. It's like humans have the capability of like recreating and like having the consciousness to aspire towards something and to actually put it into fruition, and how that
yes.
makes us so inexplicably great, so much more greater than a lot of the other entities. Not that those entities like don't just like, they all have a heart, they have a soul, yes, but it's like I think we forget that like we already have such a head start,
Mhm.
and there's a reason why we are given the tools to like, I don't know, to build like skyscrapers and to do and
Yeah.
create flight and all these things. It's like this is like potential. Like we are allowed to explore infinite potential in a way that no other being on this planet is. And it's like
Right. How
once you
amazing
kind
is
of
that?
unlock that, you're like, wow, like I could literally do anything. Like that's, I think everyone, I think that's what the powers that be are terrified of. It's like everyone just being
Oh,
like,
yes.
oh my
Realizing
god,
that,
yeah,
right.
like oh my
Yeah.
gosh, like this is like my bloodline. Like
Mhm.
what's holding me back from pursuing that with all the things, all the technology at our disposal.
Isn't that crazy?
Trips
I
me out.
still I still can't really even wrap my head around that. I think that's That's a thing, because
Yeah.
when you think about it, it's still like, even for me, thinking, oh my God, I can do anything, and you know, I can create my life. It's, there are still like, there's some resistance that comes up, and there,
Oh
it's like,
gosh, just
really though?
the
Can you,
closer you
you know?
are, the worse the resistance. Like I feel like,
Yes.
you know, the reason why I said earlier when I was like I'm jealous of the younger kids, I think for like our generation and before, or maybe not all of us. I mean, there's definitely some kids that were like, I'm going for it. But there was
Yeah.
just like a moment where it was just like you either like just make the decision yourself and you're like, I'm gonna follow this impulse, I'm gonna do it. And maybe that's just people in general. Or there's people that like had to get back into a corner. And I'm the back
Hmm.
into a corner person. Like I had to get back into a corner. And if I took
Yeah.
a step, I was off the cliff. So it was like
Hmm.
for me, I had to figure out like, okay, how do you want to paint yourself? Like, how do you want to get yourself out of this corner? Like, you can either go back to doing what you know and that you know wasn't fulfilling, or wasn't fulfilling in the way that you needed to be fulfilled, I'd rather say.
Hmm.
And then, or pursuing the way that you have no idea what's gonna like take you. You have no idea this is gonna be a terrible decision. I don't know, but like I'm
Hmm.
gonna creatively film, shoot, write, draw my way out of this corner and just go for it. And I think that some people need to be pushed there. And I think that is like, that in itself is such like I think it's so relatable. I think we all have moments where it's just like, I just don't know how to push forward. But then you take a step, and I think I don't know, that's the first step. I think that's if you could take the step out of the corner, you're always going
Yes.
to be surprised at what you build afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I feel like that's been happening in my life, just me kind of embracing like a leadership role
Mm-hmm.
at work, and being like gaining the confidence to make decisions, and be firm with people, be more direct with people, and not be so fearful of what they are thinking. You know what I mean?
Do
And
you think it's like really pushing you out of your comfort zone? Like, are you kind of
a
embracing
thousand
now that you can
million
be
billion
direct?
percent. God.
That's awesome
Yes. It's
though.
so it's
And
and I
it's like what you
knew that it
say
would
is the
happen.
law. I'm so excited.
uh, but I don't like being like that, but I will
Well,
be if I
no,
need
but
to be,
not like being like Machiavellian about like, oh, like
yeah.
I will bring down the forts, but no, just like
Yes.
having a place where it's like I have the space to make this into the best version of itself, and it's like
Yes.
I like based off of my energy and like what I've learned, I'm gonna like create an ecosystem that works, and it's like the law, and nobody can like
Hmm.
erode it and
Yes.
corrupt it. I don't know. That's just exciting, and it's
It is
also giving you
exciting.
opportunity to like really step into your power and your grace.
It's happening. Like, I can feel it happening. I was just talking to Mandy about it the other night. I was like, I feel like I'm finally getting it. Like,
Aww.
it's been like 4 months, you know, in this position, and at first I like needed constant permission, and just had to make sure that like what I was doing was right. And it was funny because when they gave me the job, they said, take the reins, just take the reins, and just make decisions and do what you think is best. You know what to do, Taylor. Like, just do it. But I was like, I'm terrified, So, but now I feel like I'm finally getting into a rhythm. I'm feeling more like sure of myself, and definitely gaining more confidence in it, and feeling like, no, I'm so capable for this. I'm so capable, and I don't question that at all. Like, I know I can do
Nice.
it, and um it's fun. I feel like I'm growing up, like, right now.
Oh.
like and I'm only a few years away from 30, but I do finally feel like an adult now. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
No, I know what you mean. I totally feel that. It's like I feel like now it's like okay, we're both 27. So it's
Yeah.
like okay, so we're going to go to sleep, wake up, and we're going to be 30. And I kind of just
Yeah.
I've had this feeling too where it was kind of just like what do I want my 30s to look like? Like this is a whole new period. And it's
Mhm.
like you have choice. And I think you kind of also grow into it. You kind of just wake up, you're just like this is like, I feel myself building towards that, like the ultimate vision. I think that's what you're doing and how this just like
I
fell in your
am.
lap. That's
It is
exciting.
building, and it's cool. Yeah, that's so funny that you bring up being 30 because I was having serious like quarter life crisis this week. I all in one day like was like looking up flights to Europe, being like I've never been to Paris and I want to go to Paris. And
Do
like
it.
all this shit and being like had this other idea pop into my head like while I was looking at flights to Paris. I'm looking at Italy. I'm like, no, Japan. That'd be so cool. Like, all these different
Do
places to
it.
travel to. And then I'm like, wait, I need to write an autobiography. Like I need and then literally thinking of lines that I would write in this book. Like
Start writing it down
narrating
now.
literally
Start writing it
narrating
down
my own life.
now.
I did. I actually did start yesterday. I looked up how to write an autobiography, and
Ooh,
there's this list of like ideas of chapters and things. And
that's
I wrote
cool.
like a couple paragraphs, like the beginning of my life, like how I was born and all this stuff. But
Oh
I
my gosh,
honestly have
that's so
always wanted to
funny.
do that.
Yeah, you
I've always wanted to write an
should.
autobiography.
And as you should. I think that's like such a why journaling is so important. Like I'm really trying to get better
Yes.
at journaling because I think it's, I have a lot of sketchbooks and notes and I love
Mm-hmm.
looking back and I'm always like, wow, like you were a real nut drawing up circles in this period. Like what was going on then? Or like, oh, you're like, oh, whenever I'm in a relationship too, I like to, I'm so like romantic, but I love to like jot
Oh.
down. I'll just be like the pain.
So drama.
It's like
I
so.
love it.
I just in my head, I just like I'm just feeling Liz Taylor is like the way that I want my life to
Yes.
look, be,
Mm-hmm.
sound, everything. So
That's so
no, I
funny.
think you should definitely do that, and I think you like I don't know. You're so interesting. I feel like I'd love to read
Oh,
something like that,
thanks.
and I feel like you have so much
I really want to
wisdom
do
to
it.
share.
Oh, thank you. I would love to do that. I definitely have some crazy stories,
Yeah, you do.
but yes,
I
that's my
say
next
that as
thing though. I'm gonna write a
I
book
feel as though
with my words.
I've witnessed some of these stories.
Oh
Maybe.
yeah. Oh my god. I was it's so funny before we recorded today. I was thinking about our friendship and I one of Mandy's relatives, she just moved down and is going to college here in Florida. And, she's 18 and she's like, it's the best decision I've ever made to come here. She's from New York. And
Lit.
she was talking about her roommates and how close she's gotten with them. And
Oh.
it just reminded me of us. And I was like, I was thinking to myself, I should have said this out loud to her, but I was thinking to myself, that could be like one of your closest friends for life because you go through so
Yeah.
much growing up, really growing up, like getting out of the house for the first time, moving
I
out for the first time,
know.
and just trying to figure it out. She was like, we don't really have a kitchen, so I just eat takeout all the time. Like it's so funny thinking back about all the things that we went through together.
I
We
know.
were
We knew.
crazy.
Yeah, we were crazy,
We were
and
insane.
we knew nothing. We were just like monkeys trying to put the kitchen pots together, and like just
Literally.
going wild every weekend, every
I
day.
don't know. I don't know how I even passed college. I don't know how I got through it. I have no idea. It's
Oh my
like
gosh.
I really have no clue how
I
that
don't. Well,
worked
I know how
itself
I
out,
passed
but
it. I would always wait to like. Okay, I'd always wait because I feel like I was a good student. I would like turn in my homework, but I was terrible at tests. Never was a good test taker. Have never
same.
been a good test taker.
Same.
So I'd wait till like maybe 3-4 weeks out of every semester, and I'd go to the professor and I'd be like, I feel like I've been doing well in your class. Like I've been showing up. I've really been trying on the homework, but the test, like I'm just really worried about how my overall grade is going to be in this class. And the professor, I guess nobody would do it, loved me. They'd be like,
I
wow.
should have done that.
Every class,
Ah,
especially as the partying got more and more aggressive, I had to
yes.
counterbalance it by being like, I really am concerned. I'm just trying to figure it out. Like,
Just don't get it.
figure this out. I
Oh
just really
god.
want to pass. And I feel like that's like how I swear I think that's how I got out. I graduated because
That's
I had a
hilarious.
friend. He was asking me. He was like, "So like, what did you do?" Because I was like trying to find some sort of career to do pursue something that would
Yeah.
actually help me attain some sort of money of some sort. And I found that I oh man, did it again. Sorry. So I found that I don't know. I found myself like in a like pretty much like helping the props on a video, like as an
Mm-hmm.
intern. And the my boss is just like, he was like, so what did you do in college? Like, why are you so confused? And I was like, oh, I just all I cared about was partying in college. He was like, oh, we paying for that now. I was like, you 100%. But I
Yes,
don't
I
regret
am.
it. I don't regret it because I think that like I don't know, we had so much fun and we did so
We
many like
had so
crazy
much fun.
things, and I feel like people forget. It's like, yeah, I could have like left school and made six figures and owned a bunch of property and did all this. Like, sure, I could have been that person. And I think about
Yeah.
that, I'm like, yeah, I could have been that person, but it's like, and like maybe some people would say like, yeah, you probably should have still been that person. But I also feel like at the same time, there's so much I've experienced that like a person that like has been working out of the womb could never even come close to. Just like the things that I've seen, the things
Absolutely.
that I've experienced, and to me, it's like that's what makes them. That's what actually matters. Like, yeah, it's like definitely pursue and like create wealth for yourself, and wealth in terms of not even just money, but just like
Yeah.
joy, health, fitness, all that stuff. But then
Yeah.
also like have fun. Like you gotta have fun, you know?
Absolutely. I think we had like it was like the definition of youth. Like when I think
Yeah.
of college years, I'm like we just had at it and we're just didn't have a care in the world pretty much. Like
But I think it's
but I
also
love
just like,
that.
yeah, that's the beauty of, I mean, I don't know how Florida State's like now, but I think when we went, it was like kids' paradise. It was like
Oh,
everything,
it was
all the
the
bosses were
best.
children, the
Yes.
teachers were
I would
children.
party with my boss.
Like even
Like
adults would come back into town to be children. Like it's just like about
literally
being a kid all the
just
time.
having
And just
fun.
like
Yeah.
saying yes to everything, and how dangerous that was there to say yes to everything,
Yes.
but you find yourself in quite a pickle. Say yes
Sometimes yes.
to nothing.
Quite a pickle. Lord.
But it was so fun. I had so
It
much joy.
was.
I think for me, it taught me just how to be an artist. Like, I was like, this is not the craziest thing to create, to be you, to say yes to what actually interests you, and to not worry so much about like what society is telling you, like, oh, go to school, become a doctor. It's like, no, I don't want to be a
Mm-hmm.
doctor. Like, I want to be an artist. And to me, being an artist is freedom. And if I'm going after that
Mm-hmm.
now at least I know what it feels like, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that's so funny. I feel like even in college I was like, what am I doing? Like I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm just going cuz like I have to kind of thing. Like
Yeah.
I just wanted to move out. I was just ready to be like out of my hometown, you know? Like whatever I got to do to get out of this damn house, I'm going, you
I
know?
think, I think a lot of people do. And I think that, like, that's the thing that's really great about college, too. It's like one of the more, it's like the socially accepted version of I'm moving out. It's like,
Yes.
because usually it's like, oh, I'm going to move out. And it's like, what are you going to do? You got a job? And it's like, if you go to college, you're like, oh, you're moving out. And people are less like, oh, wow, what are you going to do with your life? It's like, I'm going to college. I'm going to get a degree. Like, this is serious
Meanwhile,
business.
everybody's just drunk every day.
Pretty
You know,
much.
it's
Yeah.
that
And
is really funny. Like,
yeah, and I've been to a lot of places, and like I talk to people about their college experience, and nobody had as much fun as Florida State.
hey,
Like they're like telling me like,
literally.
oh, I went to school, like I studied. I'm like, I mean, sure, but that's not for me. What college? College is supposed to be about like fun. Like, I don't know.
It was, and you know what? I feel like
Maybe
we
I'm
got
horribly. I'm guiding people around. People are like, no, you're paying. But I think that also going to like a state school, it kind of lowers the stakes. It's like these are all
yeah,
state funded education centers. I'm learning. I'm
yeah,
growing. But it's like also not just about like learning the material, but you also have to learn about yourself. I think that's what was
yes,
really the biggest
so
beauties of
much.
college.
Oh yeah. Um, it's cool too because like everyone's in the same boat. It's like everyone just moved out. Like not
Yeah.
everyone, but you know the people you're around most likely are new at it too, and just you're all having like such a similar experience and of growing up.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what's funny? There's this time, I don't know if I've ever told you this, but there was a time where I think it was in 2012, and I was slacking off big time, like real bad, like just skipping class like every day and just watching Parks and Rec all day, and like just binging it and doing nothing with
Oh
my
my
life,
gosh.
and just so like going through so much like in my own life,
Yeah.
but just trying to like get by, and I'm all alone, and it's like, how do you navigate this? But
I can
you were the
relate to
one
that.
person, actually you and Christy were the two people who like, besides my family, you guys were the only ones who called me out, like but you in
Oh.
particular were, I remember the day like you came into my room and you sat down. I was literally like just like laying in bed. And you're like, Taylor. And you like
Like
had
with
this talk with me.
my fake corporate suit
Your
on. I'm
blazer.
like
Yeah,
my
you're like,
corporate suit. I'm like Taylor.
Taylor, we need to
Like
have a
it's
talk.
corporate suit and then like shorts on.
Yeah. And like a tie-dye shirt underneath. Yes, that's exactly right. Grateful Dead tapestry in the background.
But like, you know
Oh,
what?
you were like, Taylor, you can do so much better than this. Why are you not going to
Aw.
class? You are so smart. You're so, and you just, I like needed that so much. I just will never forget that.
Oh, those are the moments where
For
I feel
real.
I'm terrified. Like if you could imagine how scared I am. But it's like terrible to feel scared, to be honest with your friends. But I think that we just live in an ecosystem where
So
people just
needed.
aren't willing to be honest with each other. And it
Yeah.
terrifies me. But I always feel like I
Yeah.
have to be honest because I don't know. Everyone I'm friends with, I see a lot of potential in. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really friends with people I don't see potential in. Um,
Yeah.
so for me, it's like I take it as like, no, like you're gonna become
Yeah.
as great as I
You're
see
gonna
you.
be the best. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. And I always
No.
felt like we had a relationship where I could be honest and vice versa. Like,
Yes. Oh yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, we really grew up together, and it's so cool. I just really love that. I think it's so important even now. Like I try to surround myself with those kind of people that can be real with you, but also have fun with you, and see the best in you. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
but I think as I get older, it's so important to call people out, and whether it's family or friends, like
Yeah.
sometimes people need to hear what they don't want to hear, but it, like that talk, it really helped me, and it helped me like just get out of that slump and know that someone cares. It's like you can be firm but also loving. That's so
Yeah.
important.
Yeah. And I think to me too, it just resonates how rare that is because I'm somebody, like I want to be honest to my best of my degree. And,
Yeah.
so I think that when you can find a situation where it's like, okay, like this is being reciprocated, because that's what's most important. It's like I never want to be in a situation where I feel like you have to go behind my back.
Right.
Um, so I feel like that's not, it's just different. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
I've always felt like when we met, it was like we could be real with each other from like day
Mm-hmm.
one. Like we just
Yes.
we're like, okay, like smoke weed, yeah, okay, like from
Yeah.
Florida, okay, and that was it. And
Yeah.
then we're like, okay, that's great. And
Let's
then
keep it the same. Cool.
like, it wasn't
Sweet.
even like there was any like interview or anything. It was just kind of
No,
like we
yeah.
were like we're both
Hey,
like
we're
in the
cool.
same
Yeah.
vibe. We had like a third roommate that was like way more bunk, like out the gate. Like
Crazy.
she so I feel like for us it was like, oh, we're two very level headed, very chill.
Yes, we were on the same wavelength for sure.
So it just was a good fit. Yeah.
Oh my
I'll
god,
never
that
forget
is
the
so
I'll
funny to
never
think
forget
about.
the day the third roommate's family came into town.
Mhm.
And they literally like, okay, so they're like our age now, but they like never
Mhm.
finished college, and they were just like, we're gonna party at Florida State, let's do it. And I
Yeah.
remember them coming, terrifying me because I was like, I am not used to all this. Like this is a lot.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
she had brought this girl into town that was like 15, and they went to like frat row, got hammered. 15-year-olds buck wild, going crazy. I'm like watching the game with some friends on the couch. all I know is they come back, their eyelids are like this, like their hair's a mess. Like I don't know what happened. And the next thing I know, it's like the 15-year-old, like a spider monkey, jumps from a whole flight of stairs onto the ground on top of the third roommate. And I was like, wait a minute. I
Was
just see
I
this girl
there?
spider monkey.
I did
I
not
don't
see
know if you
this.
were there, but I
No.
remember being like, what
What's going on?
is going? And then they like came through in the blows. And then the girl was like, I'm not staying with you. I'm out. And she was left. Didn't see her. I don't know. I think she's okay.
Oh
I think
my
I think months
gosh.
later I saw her like a photo when she was
Yeah.
home, and I was like, okay, I'm glad she survived because
Yeah.
she took off in the night. But yeah,
That was
like
intense.
that was a Florida State night.
Typical night. That was so fun. Okay, well, not that situation, but
but no, it's like stuff like that all the time.
literally, yeah. Oh my god, that's insane. Yeah, intense. Just living, so young, so clueless. We thought we had it all figured out. You know, it's like, no, I had no idea.
No, nothing. I think that's also, it's funny to me too. People are always like talking crap about Florida, but I'm like, where else are you gonna have that much fun?
Florida's the best. I love it. I love Florida.
It's the best. The most lit.
I think about moving and I'm like, I would miss Florida.
I did.
You know?
I did.
For real. It's like, you know, California is, it's like sunny and similar weather, I feel like, which is nice, but I don't know. Florida is very unique.
It is. It really is. It's like the energy. It's just like, it's more like,
is.
Where it's like, I feel like California is like the place. Like the place is really beautiful. But the energy and the overall personalities aren't as fun and stuff here.
Not as fun.
I say that as the most polite. But
yeah,
I met some,
nothing
like,
wrong
really,
with California.
I met some like really cool people. But it's just, it's a little bit more of a, well, I just feel like it's a little bit more of like, you don't know what you're gonna get. Like every person is like, so like, you don't know what, like you could hear, like you just walk into a store, you hear the craziest conversation. You're like, where, like I remember I was like walking to a Goodwill one time, just like going through the aisles, and I just hear this older woman that works at Goodwill, and she's like, yeah, like every year my mom, well, like multiple times a year, my mom will go with her friends. They're all like in their 80s, and they drive like Harleys through Daytona. And I was like, the visual, she's like, I give them gift cards to like Cheesecake Factory. And I was like, the visual of that, like an old lady gang in Daytona Beach, Florida, like parking their Harleys outside of a Cheesecake Factory. I was like, that is amazing.
That is not even surprising for Daytona.
I was like,
I love that so much.
You just don't hear stuff like that in other places. I don't know.
No, yeah, definitely.
New York is also a really good place for eavesdropping, and I've heard some crazy stuff in New York City.
Just all walks of life.
Yeah.
New York is so beautiful because there's so much culture and so much like diversity.
So many personalities.
It's amazing, yeah. It's so cool. Where will we travel next?
We're almost free from quarantine. Quarantine 2020.
Right? Literally, that's the theme of this year. Quarantine 2020. Every time I watch something now too, and I hear the word quarantine, I'm like, like it's like triggering. Like, can you imagine when we're old?
Oh my God,
and we hear like the word coronavirus, like what flashbacks are we gonna have?
A lot of craziness. At least America's seen a lot of craziness during, I don't know about the other countries, but it's been popping off here. Americans don't handle quarantine well.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
There's this TikTok that I love, and it's like comparing other countries. It's like the second wave, like when the second wave hits, and it was like Poland, and everyone's just shutting their door, and like,
I've seen that.
Like all these different countries. It's like America, and it's just like taking shots. Like, ain't nothing gonna break my stride. Ain't nothing gonna slow me down.
And like a party, and like the club.
Yeah. I love it. I'm like, yeah, that's pretty much it. The beaches are lit, like People don't care. We're just living.
Go on. That's why we're known as like the clowns and jokers of the world. We're just like never gonna turn down a good party.
Whatever.
But hey,
Life's
nothing
too
wrong with
short.
that.
Come on.
Life is too short. I agree. I'd
Life's
agree.
too short.
Gotta have fun.
Yes, exactly. How long have we been recording?
Did we start at oh wait, I think I sent a text.
I think it's only almost been an hour. I think we started at 2.
I feel like it was 2.
Okay, cool.
Should we cut it?
Yeah, do you have anything else you want to say?
No.
Or bring up? Or how can we wrap it up?
We just be like, well, I think that's
well,
it.
That's all, guys. That's all, folks.
Well, maybe we could say quick things like what we wanted to think about at the week ahead. Some good points for the week ahead.
Mm-hmm.
So, I guess I'll start with. So Taylor, do you have anything you want to keep in mind this week? Any points you want to think about this week ahead?
I think really making an effort to stay present and just keep on growing, because I do feel this like shift within myself right now, and just really stepping into like my best self. And I just want to keep embracing that, and whatever that means, like whatever I have to work through, I'm going to do so and just rise to the challenge.
Nice. No, that's
what about
good.
you?
I feel similar. Like I definitely feel like a huge weight's being lifted, and I want to keep going and ride this wave and stay creative and stay present, not be so hard on myself.
Yes.
So I'm gonna just continue that and have fun and not beat myself up if I want to have fun. I think it's like I feel a lot lighter these days, and I just kind of want to keep riding that.
Yes, absolutely. You deserve that. And I feel like next week when we record again, maybe we can just talk about what came up for us during the week and maybe if that was relevant or not.
Yeah.
I like the idea of just being transparent with our experience in real time, talking about what we're working through right now and what's coming up. I think that's super relatable for, listeners and anybody else who can, I don't know, just relate to that too.
Sorry.
Oh my God, keep that in there. Achoo! It's hilarious.
But also, we want to hear from our...
Should we talk about how people can donate to this and we can...
Yes. You guys can donate to our Anchor page.
Yes.
Yeah, and also guys, like we want to hear from you. So leave comments on our YouTube page, leave comments on our pages. We want to hear what we could be doing better with. Maybe maybe there's topics you want us to explore.
Yes.
Yeah, just flag it for us and we'll listen.
Yeah, our Instagram is at But Like Why the Podcast. So comment there or DM us. Like I definitely would love to hear some feedback from our listeners, and that's really exciting. We've got a couple good comments. Just people enjoying it, and it's just good to hear that people can relate and they're enjoying the content. So
yes, we make this for you guys.
Yeah.
So thanks for joining us. Have a good week.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.